Set operators and the composite queries they produce. There are 4 set operators: quickly, union all, union, intersect, and minus. What does union all do? Union all will take a combination of 2 queries and include all the rows, including any duplications. In other words, duplications between both tables that have exactly the same values. Both will appear. Union simply removes those duplicates. Intersect actually takes distinct rows from both the queries. It's similar to an intersection or an inner join. Minus produces results that are similar to outer joins. The result is that it includes only the distinct rows in the first query. Let's go back to the beginning again and take a look at some examples. The first example, union all, selects everything between 2 tables, including duplicates. I've used the ACT and the supporting ACT tables because their structure is similar. The data is somewhat different, but structurally they are the same. So now I'm going to simply do a union all between those 2 tables. I get 72 rows. Now let's go and change it to a union and select distinct rows only. I get a lot fewer rows. Now let's do an intersect, or a natural join or intersection between ACT and supporting ACT. Quite obviously I get no rows at all. That's because there is no intersection between those 2 tables. Even though structurally they are the same, the data in the 2 tables is completely different. So what does intersect do? It selects distinct rows from both the queries. It's like an intersection. In other words, if there is a row in this table that is also in this table, will only select the row from the first table, not the second table. So let's try to demonstrate that by creating a union between the same table but using different names in that same table. So I'm going to select these 2 people and I'm going to get a union between them which produces duplicate rows because I'm getting 1 row from each table, which is the same table. Therefore I get the same table times 2. This may seem like a rather odd method of explaining intersect. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do the original union between the 2 supporting ACT tables, and then I'm going to apply an intersection of the same table to the result of the initial union. The result I get is all these records of just this ACT name. Minus does something different in that it selects from one table where everything is not in the other table. So what I can do with minus is to select everything from ACT and remove everything that is in supporting ACT. Now obviously that query won't actually have any effect because the IDs of these 2 stars as supporting ACT are actually not 2 and 3. Therefore, they do not match up to the records in the supporting ACT table. Therefore, nothing is removed. Now let's use minus and select all rows from the ACT table 3 times, but use minus to remove these ACTs from the entire selection of the ACT table. If we scroll up, we can see that those 2 ACTs have completely disappeared.